So let's get started. Step number one, we got to write the numerator as a single fraction. Well, right now, of course, it's not a single fraction. We got two of them. So let's break that up here and do a separate question. Forget this bottom stuff. Let's take this subtraction of these two rational expressions and do what we just did the past couple days. That means I got to factor everything that I possibly can. Well, I got to factor this binomial difference of two squares. X minus 3, x plus 3, sweet. This one over here doesn't factor. So I look at the denominators and say, okay, what's my least common denominator? Well, let's see, I need an x minus 3, x plus 3 here, and that one has an x plus 3. So again, I need this to cover both of my denominators, if you will, and this one right here would be my least common denominator. Therefore, I need to look and say, okay, what's missing? Well, this guy's not missing anything for my least common denominator, so it's going to stay exactly as is. This one here, however, if that's my denominator in that one, I'm missing an x minus a 3. So I must multiply the top and the bottom by x minus 3. That's cool because it makes the denominator exactly this. So we've got common denominators now. Lovely. So now I must take this 2 and distribute to the x minus 3. But be careful. Do you see it? Do you see it? Do you see it? Do you see it? Look, there's a subtraction there. So I must be careful when doing this. You got to take this subtraction, change it to an adding, make that negative, and then distribute the negative 2 through here, which would actually give you in the top negative 2x, and then plus 6. And again, all of that will be over this denominator. X minus 3, x plus 3. I know that's very small in the video, but you can hear me saying it. So now that I have in the numerator negative 2x plus 6, remember, I'm taking the 4 and I'm adding that now to this. Lovely. So I have 4 plus negative 2x plus 6, which would mean I get negative 2x plus 10. How? Because 4 plus 6 gives me 10. So there you go. Step number 1 is done. That means up here goes negative 2x plus 10. All of that over x minus 3, x plus 3. Lovely. Step number 1 is done. Step number 2. Take this fraction. Well, not fraction. Take the denominator, and we need to take these two rational expressions, add them together, so we can get it down to one fraction in the denominator. Well, down here's where I've done that work. You look at this. Whoops, I didn't write it down. The LCD, and this one is I have two denominators. One's an x plus 3, one's an x minus 3. If I want to construct a denominator that's the same for both of them, if I want both of these to look the same, both of them, what I'm going to need to do is this. My LCD is going to need to be x minus 3 and x plus 3. That's my least common denominator. So, what's missing? Well, this one has an x plus 3. I'm missing an x minus 3. So I must multiply x minus 3 on top, x minus 3 on the bottom. Lovely. Over here, that's missing an x plus 3. So I need to multiply by x plus 3 over x plus 3. Yeah! So when I multiply this, check it out. That's my denominator. That's my denominator. They'll both be exactly the same. Forget the colors. You get the idea. So when I distribute the 1 through here, I get x minus, I'll just write it up here. I would get x minus a 3. I'm going to write that. Here we go. X minus 3. When I distribute this 1 through here, I'm going to get x plus 3. So that's the numerator. I got x minus 3 up here. I got x plus 3 up here. So when I add these together, x minus 3 plus x plus 3, well, that was confusing. X minus 3 plus x plus 3, check it out. The 3 and the negative 3 just really cancel each other out. Not really cancel, I shouldn't say that. It goes to 0. Negative 3 plus 3 is a 0. So I have x plus x, which would give me 2x. Check. That's why that's down there. So this now is my denominator once I added these two fractions together after I got common denominators. So that means this is 2x over x minus 3, x plus 3. So now I'll box this because this is where we are in the process. Sorry, my writing's a little messy. Should be able to read it though. So there we are. So let's take this, now that we've gone through step 2. We've written this as one fraction. We've written this now as one fraction. And now we can go to step 3 and keep it, change it, flip it. So let's do that in the next slide here, if you will. Slide that over. And here we are. Same situation. I just did it, just slid it over. So I'm going to keep the first one the same. Notice this stays exactly the same. There's nothing different. It stays exactly the same. I must change the division to multiplication. And then I got to take this and I go bing. Whatever. Cool sound effect. Bing. That's the reciprocal sound effect, by the way. Bing. Try it at home. Pretty good. So I take this, bing, flip it, and put it right there. And then I would just really kind of multiply across the top. Or if you notice what's happening down here, what I've actually done is this. I've taken this guy right there, and there's a GCF in it. Oh, yes, there is. So I can take that -2, the GCF, out of both of those and get an x minus a 5. So that's what happens when I factor that guy out of there. And you should do that. Honestly, once you keep it, change it, flip it, you need to look and see if there's anything else I can kind of factor, if there's anything else I can do. I certainly really wouldn't necessarily multiply this stuff back through yet, because you got to kind of take a step back and observe what's happening. Can I cross things off? Can I cross things off? And be careful when you do it. But what I can do in this one is factor out the GCF. So I've done that. So now that's down here. So what I have is that fraction right here, right there, multiplied by this guy. Now if you notice, ooh, I see some nice stuff going on. So really, going with our steps, you would just kind of combine these bad boys right here. Multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom, and put them together. And then see if there's anything that you can cross them off, match them up, cross them off, and clean them up. Well, x minus 3, x minus 3. Piece. X plus 3, x plus 3. Double piece. And anything else? Oh, there is. I see a 2, and this particular 2, I'm not cross off the negative because it's not a -2 and a -2, but it is a 2 and a 2. I can cross them off. So what am I left with? Well, what I'm actually left with is, I'm left with a -x minus 5, and I'm left with just an x down here in the bottom. So if you look over here to the right, is that the right answer? You look at it. X is on the bottom, I have negative left, and an x minus 5. If you look at that, you should say that is not correct. And it's not. Why? Because I still have this negative over here. So what I really do is distribute this back through here and change this to a -x plus 5. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your final answer. Lovely. Now that absolutely was too fun. Those are pretty awesome questions. That's a pretty intense one, but I wanted to show it to you because, one, I know you can handle it. Go back through and watch it again. You'll see exactly how it flies. And we'll see you in class. We'll practice these. Later.